Bonjour à toutes et à tous les amis et bienvenue sur la chaîne YouTube de So Catch by Al. J'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, PJ Black se joint à moi pour une toute nouvelle interview. Hi PJ, how are you doing?
Bonjour, I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. So it's quite sunny. Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles,
Oh,
downtown Los Angeles. It's 10 a.m. right now. Beautiful day. I get up really early. I watched the sunrise this morning. It was beautiful. Some beautiful colors.
good. Did you already come to France?
I have been in. I've been in France. It was a couple of years ago. I haven't been there recently. Obviously, the whole world is shut down right now. I had so many tours planned this year, so many international tours that I missed out on. South Africa, Australia, Europe twice. But yeah, let's see what happens this year. Hopefully, the world can go open up. And I'd really like to come to France. So my cousin plays rugby in the south of France.
Oh, nice. Do you know any famous French dish? I know you were a chief at some point.
I mean, all French food is amazing. It's hard to pick anything, but I love French food. I love all kinds of food, man. And that's my favorite thing about traveling around the world is just experiencing different cultures and food.
I have another very hot question on my mind that I have to ask now. Do we have a chance to see one of my favorite faction of pro wrestling, Worldwide Underground from Lucha Underground, back together one day?
Oh yes, I think that can definitely happen. That was one of my favorite groups too. Such a talented group of people, and we're all split over into different promotions right now, which makes it really interesting. But I do think that it'll happen again.
So that was your time in Lucha Underground. You also had a run in WWE, of course. You debuted on Raw with the Nexus, destroying everything. Recently, Retribution did kind of the same thing, and it's very often compared to what the Nexus did. What do you think about that?
Yeah, people always compare things to things that already happened. In wrestling, we always see a lot of storylines are remixed or regurgitated from the past. It's very hard these days to come up with something very unique and very new. I feel like the Nexus was that thing that was very new and unique at the time, and people will try and duplicate it, but it'll be hard. I don't watch a lot of Raw, so I missed a lot of those segments, but I try to follow it as much as I can on social media.
How WWE people reacted when you were leaving in January 2015?
Um, it was a very hard decision. I mean, some people weren't happy. I wasn't happy with myself at the time, and it was it's frustrating sometimes when you want to do something and you want to express yourself in a certain way, and you cannot do that, if that makes any sense. So it was extremely hard decision for me, but I have a great fan base, and people want to see what I'm gonna do next. For some of the fans that do follow me, they know what I'm capable of, and now that the handcuffs are off, I can kind of be PJ Black.
Yeah, I understood at the time it was kind of impulsive decision, like last last moment decision. How did you came up with the idea of okay, I'm quitting?
Wow, I mean, it was so long ago, I hardly remember, but I just remember going through the emotions, just being frustrated with life, and maybe a lot of it was my fault. I had a very long, I wouldn't say rough, tough career, but coming from a third world country, from South Africa, trying to make it in the world of pro wrestling in the United States, like I remember being a teenager, and I told everyone this is what I'm going to do with my life, and they were like, "You're crazy. It'll never work because no South African has ever made it to the big stage." And I was like, "Well, perfect. Then I'm going to be the first one." And everyone's like, no, but there's no blueprint for you to follow. How are you going to do it? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to do this. And I did it, and I'm stoked the way it turned out. I wish I could have made some different decisions along the way, but hopefully I inspire a couple of kids here and there to follow their dreams. I mean, I do get emails from kids in South Africa all the time asking me, "Hey, where should I start? What should I do? Where do I begin?" And tell me more about your journey. So one day when I go back to South Africa, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach these kids how to make a successful living out of pro wrestling.
Is your relationship with Triple H better now? Because it
Yes,
wasn't
yes.
happy when you left.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say not happy, but I mean, I could have done things a lot different. I probably should have, spoken to a few people before I made this crazy decision. But that's my life. I've always made crazy decisions, whether it's in the ring, out of the ring, skydiving. That's just how I live my life. Like that for me, life is a video game, and I will never change no matter what happens. But yes, we're good now. He actually sent me a text the other day, so I cannot say too much about that, but we're good.
Okay, maybe the text that he sent you was about a Nexus reunion because your former Nexus partner Darren Young talked about it. He mentioned that it was originally scheduled to have a Nexus reunion for WrestleMania 36. Have you been contacted for that?
Yes. I mean, it's such a long story. It's very hard to get all seven of us on the same page, because it's one guy's over here, and I actually tagged with Darren Young the other day. We did a New Japan show. It was awesome. It was fun to see him again. And then never say never. But it's gonna be a little bit hard, but I feel like it might happen one day.
Okay, and do you still have news from all your six former partners on a regular basis?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We have a group chat still going here and there. I mean, it's very interesting. People to see some of the guys mature and evolve, but deep down they're still the same people.
Yeah.
they're my friends. They'll always be my family.
Yeah, it was like the first group. I mean, the seven of you was like the first NXT guys, a lot of first, and I can understand that it's special for you.
Oh yeah, totally. And just the friendships I made, to me, that I'll take to my grave.
So that was your WWE run. We had to go through these WWE questions. But now you're in a different place. You're in Ring of Honor. What did you find in ROH that you didn't find elsewhere?
Wow, that's kind of hard to put into words, but let me try. I mean, I've always been a fan of the art of pro wrestling, like the old catch as can styles, and combining different styles like the lucha libre style with a catch as can and the strong style wrestling. And I feel like Ring of Honor has an amazing roster right now. And one of the things that made me want to sign is I looked at the roster and I was like, wow, I can have great matches with every single one of these guys. And it's given me an opportunity to I feel, I mean, I've been doing this for 23 years, but I still feel like I'm growing. Like every year I'm growing as a wrestler, as a performer. And the Ring of Honor roster is like pushing me to different heights.
You may also have a little bit more of creativity, creative freedom for what you're doing.
Yes, and that's a big part of this game these days, and it's hard when you work for certain bigger companies. You have to play by certain rules, and that's just the name of the game, right? So that's another reason I chose Ring of Honor, because they give me this freedom, this space, this platform to express myself, for lack of a better term. And beat people up. Like you get to punch people in the face every week. That's amazing.
So you mentioned it. They have a list of talent, which is quite amazing. Who are the wrestler that you are the most looking forward to working with?
Oh, I mean, the whole list. I mean, Shane Taylor, I'm looking forward to. I've never wrestled him before. Jay Lethal is one of the all-time greats. Obviously, I got to wrestle him once or twice last year, which was awesome. Bandito, I think that kid is the future. Flip Gordon, Dragon Lee, those people are amazing to watch. I mean, I'm sure you know, familiar with their work. Those are the guys that it's funny because those guys came to me and they're like, "Oh man, I used to watch you when I grew up. That's why I do the 450, or that's why I do this move." And I was really like flattered, but I was also like, "Wow, like fuck, have I been wrestling for that long?"
uh, yes, yes, kind of. I was watching you growing up in my like 14s, 15s, so 10 years later, here we are.
Wow, 10 years later. Time flies. Like this last 10 years have really, really flew by so quickly. It feels like yesterday when Nexus started.
What do you think of the Mexican wrestlers? You've mentioned it, Bandido, Dragon Lee, being more and more popular. Like we see these days a lot of Mexican wrestlers being signed by many promotion, ROH as well. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic. I think, and it's not only the Mexican wrestlers. There's wrestlers from all over the world. We signed two Australian guys, Ring of Honor. I'm the South African guy, but I love the lucha libre influence. I mean, lucha libre is a massive, massive impact on global wrestling. We all love the characters. We love the athleticism. A lot of these lucha moves that we know of today, and we see a lot of these guys invented, or their forefathers invented a lot of these moves. I love it, man. I think it's great. I love that wrestling is such a global. What term can I use? Like language, if you will. Because
Yes.
for example, in South Africa or in Africa as a whole, the best shows are NXT, and back in the day, it used to be like Main Event and Superstars, because a lot of those countries don't speak any English, so they don't understand the promo segments and these long talking segments. But everybody understands wrestling, So wrestling is a universal language, and I love that. I love to see how it's evolving, and it's going to keep evolving, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go 5 years from now.
I agree with you. It keeps evolving like every month, every year. Each show, each wrestler has his own personality. And in my opinion, we see a more and more of lucha stuff at the moment. I would say it's the new trend. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I think the new trend is like lucha mixed with a strong style. The Japanese strong style is like a hybrid style, which is kind of cool because that is in South Africa. Growing up in South Africa, we didn't really have a style, So I used to watch the British style. I used to watch the Japanese strong style, the lucha libre, um, and I kind of just took pieces of everything and I made this hybrid style. But I feel like that's what everyone has adopted these days. I'm not taking credit for that, but I definitely helped spark this movement, I think.
So that's about the styles, but what other parameters are you the most sensitive with when it comes to say that a wrestling match is good? What do you look for?
Well, see, that's different for different people. Like different people like different things, and like anything, it's like art. Not a lot of people like the same art. It's subjective. That's what I like about it. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all storytellers. And think about this: you're attracted to different ways of storytelling. Even if you just listen to one of your favorite actors at an interview, you're attracted to different things, and we're all. That's what makes it so unique, and that's what I love about it. Like if you asked like 20 different people who are their top 10 wrestlers, you will never, ever, ever, ever get the same list. Ever. You might get a few of the same guys here and there, but you will never get the same list. And that I love that. That's great.
But what about you? What do you like?
Oh,
Yeah.
for me, it changes a lot. I love character stuff. Like I like watching Finn Balor when he's the demon. I like watching the Fiend. I like watching character stuff. I love watching promos. I love watching like the 90s stuff, like the Ultimate Warrior promos and Jake the Snake and stuff like that. I love it. I love it all. I love a mix. I love really good lucha wrestling. I love some spot fests. But at the end of the day, it's just storytelling. Like if two characters in the ring can pull me in emotionally, that to me, it doesn't even matter what kind of match it is. It could be a hardcore match. It can be like a Falls Count Anywhere match. It can just be a simple any kind of match. It's hard to explain. You know what I mean, right?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like this
yeah.
kind of match that we are watching and we're so into it, like every time there is a pinfall, like watching the screen, like, oh, like this kind of reaction, because we know that a lot is on the line, and we got the emotion of the match. I know what you mean, definitely.
Right, exactly. And to me, for us as wrestlers too, we feed off that emotion, when people are getting into it. And like sometimes I'm in the ring and I look outside and I see a little kid and he's so
Yeah,
happy,
exactly.
Exactly. And that makes it so worth it for us. That's why this time right now doing these empty arena matches is extremely hard, because you don't have that energy, you don't have that emotion. So you got to change up the style. And I try to tell kids too, like you have to change up the style completely. Like use this to your advantage. There's so many things you can do now that wasn't possible before, and vice versa, So use it to your time. I just see these young kids just doing the same thing over and over and over. I'm like, yo, that's not how we evolve. Like you gotta. But it's cool to see guys figuring it out, And it took a fucking, excuse my language, it took a freaking pandemic to to make us change up a little bit. But
so it's different. You mentioned it, but how difficult is it? Like less motivation. Maybe you want to show up a little bit less. What's no, but I can imagine that the wrestler wants to glow when they have like
right.
the public, but now it's different. You mentioned it. How difficult is it to wrestle in an empty arena?
It's very difficult. Like for some people, it's actually easier, but for me, it's very hard because I work a little bit different than most guys. Like you kind of like feed off the energy of the crowd, and you kind of just go along. So now there's nothing to gauge it by. There's just complete silence. Like you can hear everything. So I do a lot of trash talking. I'll talk in the guy's ear, tell him what a piece of shit he is and stuff like that. Trying to get some different emotions out of it, because we don't have the fans like yelling and screaming and getting those energies. So you got to try some different stuff here and there. But I don't know. I think for the most part, most guys have been doing a fantastic job. It must be hard for some fans to watch, but fans are still watching. So let's see what happens this year.
So wrestling is one of your extreme activities, but you do a lot of extreme stuff, extreme activities, and from everything that you are doing, what gives you the most adrenalines?
I mean, that's tough. That's really tough. I mean, all of them in different degrees, varying degrees. I mean, nothing will ever beat wrestling. I mean, as soon as your music hits, yes. As soon as your music hits, no matter where you are, how tired you are, what mood you're in, it's go time. You just, I don't know. Maybe I've been doing it for so long that it's just a switch, like I don't even have to warm up or anything. As soon as I hear the music, I'm like, I'm ready to go. That adrenaline rush it'll be hard to beat.
Not even skydiving.
No. See, skydiving for me is more like a meditation. People think that us extreme athletes, they call us adrenaline junkies, to just get that fix. For people think we're just like go. But for me, it's the opposite. For me, skydiving is like a meditation, because it's this little moment that I have to myself in 60 seconds of free fall. Like, think about that. 60 seconds. Sometimes it can feel like a lifetime. It can feel like 10 minutes. It's like a forced meditation for me.
But it's an extreme style of meditation, let's say it.
Yeah. And I mean, think about what meditation is, right? It's just being completely present in this moment, right? Nothing else matters. For me, skydiving or extreme sports is the same thing. Like I'm about to jump out of this plane. The door opens. I look down. You know, you kind of like make sure all your handles are ready. You know, your goggles, everything is you do your gear check. You don't think of anything else. You know, I'm not thinking of the match I have next week, or you know, the injury I had last week, or any bills I have to pay. You're completely present in that moment, and whatever the activity is, that's, to me, if you're completely present, that's meditation.
So, how important is meditation to you?
Very, very important. I mean, only discovered that maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I wish I started doing it much earlier in life. I mean, it has so many benefits. I do a lot of breathing exercises too. I don't know if you're familiar with Wim Hof and guys like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I tell kids too, I'm like, if this was a video game and a lot of people think that we live in a simulation, then the breathing techniques are the cheat codes. You know, you can literally put yourself to sleep with it with certain breathing techniques. I can get rid of anxiety and stress like immediately. There's so many little breathing techniques that you can do. The cheat codes to life, I think.
I think you got to teach me some then.
Definitely, definitely. I'm writing a little ebook right now, so you know, just teaching people some basic stuff that has helped me in my life. So hopefully, I can help some other people with that.
How much of what we see of PJ Black in the ring reflects your personal life?
That depends on a weekly basis sometimes. You know, it depends what I'm going through, and then I use that energy, I channel it into my matches because that's my art, you know. So
Of course.
that's kind of like my expression. I people always, when I'm performing, people will be like, "Wow, you're really mean," or "You're really like angry," or stuff like that. Because I think in real life, I'm a really nice guy, and that's my balance. Like I take it out in the ring. Like you know, my girlfriend makes me mad, or I get mad at, you know, whatever it is. I'll take it out on the ring. Legit, I'll beat some guys up.
And last question. Let's imagine that time travels are possible. What is the piece of advice that the you from now would tell to the you from the past?
Wow, man, I think about that question a lot, and it's very, very, very hard to answer. But if I have to answer
More
that, I would just
skydiving.
say I, yes, but also meditation much earlier in life. You know, like I cannot explain to you how much that's helped me in my life, in so many areas of my life, in every single aspect. I just wish I adopted those techniques earlier in life.
So you would say that you're a different person, like before and after the meditation?
Oh, 100%, completely different.
Okay, understood. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, PJ. You made it.
Yeah, that's it. We're done talking wrestling.
Yeah, we can talk more, always more, but maybe in a next episode, a next video, we I'm free, you're free, so yeah, there is a
Sounds
pandemic
good.
worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. Let's check back in a year from now when I'm world champion.
Okay, let's do that. That sounds very much interesting.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Hal. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. As I told you, I was watching you on TV growing up. It's just a dream for me right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, the best of PJ Black is yet to come. I can promise
Okay,
you that.
good. So I will keep looking for you. What you're doing in ROH, of course, and I hope you will be world champion. The soonest
Oh,
will be the best.
I think so. I think so. Thank you so much, though. Thanks for your confidence.
Thank you very much. On se retrouve très bientôt sur la chaîne YouTube de So Catch by Al, les amis. J'espère que cette vidéo vous a plu. Si c'est le cas, n'hésitez pas à la liker et à la partager. D'ici là, restez à l'affût, restez affûtés. Des bisous pour tout le monde. Ciao, ciao. Et puis on n'oublie pas, comme d'habitude, on se donne rendez-vous sur la chaîne AB1 pour Raw tous les mercredis à 20h50 et SmackDown tous les samedis à 20h50 en compagnie de Christophe Ejus et Philippe Chéreau.